Morning, everyone. Welcome to Lib Talk. I am Noe Chapichap, and our topic for today is the cultural mapping project of Baguio City. Before we go further, are you aware of the Baguio heritage sites of Baguio City? Alam niyo ba kung ilan yung mga heritage sites na meron sa Baguio City? To give us insight on the cultural mapping project of Baguio City, I am honored to welcome some of the authors of this project, and they will be introduced themselves. Mag-umpisa kay Architect Darrell.
I'm Architect Darrell Ramirez from UAP as Samot Capital.
Hello po, I'm Jerome from Baguio City. I'm working for the cultural mapping project of the city, which is the book 1, cultural mapping project. I am a mapper or a researcher.
Hi, good morning. I am Rochelle Pipani. I'm a member of the cultural mapping project of the city.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I understand you encountered many obstacles in doing this project. Ma'am, kindly, what prompted the Baguio City to come up with this project? Ma'am?
Just a little bit of background there. The idea to have a cultural mapping project for the city actually was hatched in 2019. That was during a consultation that was sponsored by the city mayor's office, headed by the Vice Mayor Olowan and the Councilor Popo Kasanan and Councilor Aladio. During that consultation, we broached the idea of having a cultural mapping project of the city as one of the concerns at the time. Thus, Councilor Popo Kasanan then drafted a resolution which was introduced to the council by Councilor Kayabas. And that resolution was passed by the council. It's entitled Resolution Number 128, requesting the Honorable City Mayor Benjamin Magalong to create a Baguio City Cultural Heritage Conservation Committee. And one of the major roles of this committee is to conduct a cultural mapping project. After the passage of that resolution, the city mayor, passed an executive order number 13, series of 2021, entitled Creating the Baguio City Cultural Heritage Conservation Committee, its composition and functions. So this executive order puts into action the adoption of the project by the city, and then those resolutions actually, or those legislations, are required by the national agency in charge of cultural mapping projects, which is the National Commission for Culture in the Arts. The city and the National Commission for Culture in the Arts, or NCCA, entered into a memorandum of agreement whereby the city gave its commitment in terms of financial and supply support for the project, whereas NCCA will be providing the technical assistance for the project. So that's basically the groundwork on how and why. And of course, there are a lot of reasons why we had this project, but that's actually how it started.
Thank you, ma'am. So, this project, hindi basta-basta na ginawa, no? May legislation pala. Legislation ng national at saka legislation ng local, and executed by executive order. Okay. So, ganun pala itong cultural mapping project of Baguio City. So, ano naman ang anong mga problems or difficulties na na-encounter ninyo habang ginagawa ninyo itong project na ito, ma'am?
One of the, hindi naman siguro sa problems, sabihin na lang natin challenges.
Challenges.
So one of the many challenges of the project was waiting for the response from owners of, sabihin natin, kasi yung isang book namin is immovables. So yung immovables is yung structures or yung built environment natin sa Baguio. So one of the challenges was waiting for the responses of owners of those structures. So medyo na binabypass muna namin yung sa immovables, nag-focus na lang muna kami sa mga ICH, which is yung intangible cultural, so yung mga rituals ganyan. Kasi hinihintay pa namin mag-reply yung mga owners ng buildings or ng mga sites namin. Ma'am?
Cultural mapping is an approach to identify, document cultural properties of the city. So, sinabi ni architect refers to cultural properties found in the city where ownership is lodged at the national agencies. And thus the communication have to undergo a lot of time or needs a lot of time for the proper approval of the agency is given and the mapping can be conducted. Another concern also was the need to get the prior informed consent of the indigenous people, particularly our informants from Happy Hollow. So we needed the time to undertake that process, and the length of time that we had to undertake that eat up some of the allotted time to undertake the project. So once we got the FPIC or consent of the people, that was already a month before the termination of the project. So kaunti lang yung nakuha project. But we look forward to a second phase where we will have more time to collect more information from Happy Hollow.
So, hindi pala basta-basta itong project na ito, paggawa ng mga cultural sites ng Baguio City. Gaya ng sabi ni architect, kung immovable, mahirap hintayin muna yung may-ari. And one more thing, yung mga tao dapat may free prior consent muna. So, yan talaga ang hirap ng mga researchers ngayon. So, ano naman ang naitulong ng mga libraries sa inyong mga project?
The cultural mapping project of the city was stationed here at the library, and we were happy that yun ang nangyari that the working of the cultural mapping project at its office here in the library because of the availability of secondary resources, especially on local history that are found here in the library. So we were very thankful that before going to the key informants, we had a little bit of background information about the intended cultural property to be researched because of the help of the available books that are here in the library. Cultural mapping involves identifying key personalities, key institutions, tangible cultural heritage and intangible cultural heritage. So you have collections here about personalities, about institutions, also books about intangible cultural heritage. So, for example, I had to do a mapping on games, and you have a book about Philippine games, like as in King, for example. So it made it easier for us to come up with a description of the cultural resource because we already have available materials here that help us formulate the description about the cultural resource that we are doing here.
Any additional?
Additional. Hindi nasabi na ko lahat mo, Ross.
You can cite one experience siguro.
But siguro sa akin lang po, sa age group po namin, sir, we are very thankful for you, for the library staff, for also helping us always, assisting us in looking for the particular books that we need. So it wasn't really difficult for us because of your presence. Thank you po.
Kung siya maka-add po. Magkukwento ko mahaba-habang kwento. So hindi, in relation to book, to question number 2 at question number 1. Sir, one of the challenges kasi was pandemic kasi ngayon. So parang one of the challenges was going around the city na hindi kami mahahawa. Which, by the way, nahawa po kami. Hindi naman major. Pero we had an instance na the group had to work at home. So sa naging write-up na lang yung nangyari sa amin kasi we had a close contact with a COVID patient. So, a positive na COVID patient. So we had to do our work at home, so hindi kami nakalabas. So since, pandemic, it was a good and bad experience, half-half kasi one, walang masyadong maraming tao na lumalakad. So transportation-wise, it was easy kasi walang traffic. So yun po sir. Bad kasi nga siyempre, pandemic parang ang hirap naman. Yan na sir.
Talagang malaking epekto itong pandemic talaga, pero hopefully matakasan natin to. And itong cultural mapping project is coming up with a book, am I right? What are the benefits of this book kung sakaling matapos? Kasi book 1 ito ma'am, no? Anong benefits ng book na ito sa people of Baguio?
Okay. First of all, yung requirement for the local government unit to come up with a cultural mapping project is in order for it to submit a listing of cultural properties found within the locality. It's a requirement provided by the Republic Act 10066 or the Heritage Law of 2009, which mandates all local government units to submit a local registry of heritage properties to the national office, particularly the National Commission for Culture and the Arts. And there was a memorandum of agreement that was passed by NCCA and DILG, whereby local government units who are able to submit their listing, we entitle them or we qualify them to the seal of good local governance. So that's a plus factor for the city if it's able to submit a listing. That's one. And we all know that Baguio City is has a long history. We are celebrating the 30th year anniversary of the city when it was chartered in September 1, 1909. Before the city was chartered, the city was already a settlement of the Ibalois in the city. And we all know that the Cordillera as a whole was never under the administration of the Spaniards for a long time, and thus we were able to maintain or sustain a lot of our indigenous knowledge systems and practices, which until now some are still being practiced, and which are contributing a lot in terms of building communities, in terms of identity building, in terms of appreciating what we have. Cultural mapping contributes in the heritage conservation process, because before you can conserve something, first you needed to identify what is available in the locality. After identifying what these cultural properties are, you become aware of their presence. And from being aware, you will come to appreciate this and value this. And therefore, by valuing, you are able to benefit from these cultural properties. So it's a whole a heritage cycle, which whereby cultural mapping is contributing. And we, after the book, the next step for us is to come up with a analysis workshop to look into the content of the output of the or book one particularly, and see how we can utilize these cultural resources. Educationally, you can use spiritually, and you can use economically. So these are the benefits where that we can attain from the use of these cultural heritage properties. Economically, because, for example, among those that were mapped is, for example, silversmithing, leather craft, sound making. You know, there's a lot of skill, trade and crafts that we have mapped that are here in the city, and there are still the people who can teach, you know, and then maybe those there are people who can inspire to utilize this for their own continuing projects.
And would be aware now.
Yeah, once they become aware that these are existing. So, for example, another is for education, and that's awareness raising, valuing what we have, and building, one's pride about who we are because of these heritage resources that we have that until now are still, existing, but we might not be aware that they are around because we have not heard about them. So, from the output, probably during the analysis workshop, the utilization workshop, among those that can be proposed is coming up with resource materials that the school can use, like modules, for example. Schools now are interested in localizing or indigenizing their curriculum or modules, and therefore the book can be the reference. And mind you, the cultural mapping is not just a listing of what are these resources. The whole map of the mapping involves a lot of sections, and I'm asking Jerome will explain all the parts of the cultural mapping.
So our book consists of 4 volumes. We have the first volume, which is the immovable natural resources. I mean, the corrected me. Yeah, the natural resources for the volume 1. For the volume 2, we have the immovable tangible heritage, which are the buildings, structures, the roads, the sites, the roadworks, and for examples are the parks. For our volume 3 is the intangible cultural heritage, which are the rituals, we have the dances, the songs, the beliefs of the people of the city. And for our last volume, we have the institutions, the personalities, we have their...
We describe also in parts ng map.
So that I think Ma'am Dao will be describing the first volume, the natural.
Okay. Okay. Wait. So, yung first how we did our mapping was like this. We had a form from NCCA. This yung form consists of the following. So one, of course, the name. So for example, immovable. So kailangan yung name is yung proper na name or yung name that is common to the people. Kasi parang for example, sabihin natin, Park Circle. Pero Park Circle, which was mapped during the American period, hindi natin siya kilala where it is, di ba? Ang mas kilala ngayon is Pakdal Circle. So what we will use in our map is Pakdal Circle, tapos we have open close parentheses na Park Circle, which was the original name of that circle. So, So we have the name, we have the location, even the longitudinal and the coordinates was there. The ownership of that said structure or that said ICH. We have the physical descriptions, so how you see it now. Hindi yung before, kasi wala tayo sa before eh. Kung ano yung nakikita natin ngayon. And then, syempre, kung may physical description, we have also to address the history of said items. So, doon na pumapasok yung how it looked before, paano siya nabuo, when, who, how, yung items na yan. And then we have significances. So why is that particular ICH, that ritual, that natural resources, why are they significant? So 5 pa yung significances. Ayan, we have historical, we have social, we have economical, political, spiritual, and aesthetics. So maraming categories pa. After that, we have yung conclusion. Like for example, sa conclusions namin is yung assessment, status of conservation. Yes, we have stories as well. Kung kunwari, kung nandun ba nakabury yung treasure niya, machintang, ganyan.
Yun ang maganda.
Yes sir, kung meron bang
Kung
ghost
meron.
stories, di ba? Kung totoo ba na may multo dun sa isang location, ganyan. And then, of course, yung last namin is our references. We have to make sure na we cite correctly kung saan namin pinagkukuha yung references namin. We have our key informants, and of course, our secondary resources, which is yung books na nakita namin here and internet searches namin. Of course, we have to have yung mappers, acknowledgements who are key informants, and when we map the specific items.
So, long story pala. At saka
Very long story.
long story and long process, and long to go.
Longer, yes sir.
So, yung book 1 na yun, ma'am, kailan kaya matatapos? O tapos na?
Sir, tapos na.
Tapos na? Na-launch na?
Sir, noong September 1, nung nagkaroon tayo ng program sa Convention Center, we gave the book to the government. We presented the book to the government already.
We hope to see that, ma'am.
Yes, sir. You will have a copy.
Thank you, ma'am. So, kung sakali, ma'am, yung libro na yan, for sale ba? O, doon, o hindi masagot.
We don't know the long-term plan yet. Once we have the analysis and visualization workshop, then that's when we can have a plan on how to disseminate the book, whether it's going to be for sale, whether it's going to be free for public. Mahal kasi yung publication, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Kailangan i-budget yun. But ang importante is it gets disseminated, the information gets disseminated in maybe more siguro, and in ways that it will be attractive for even children to read, but at the same time it can be used by the academic or any researcher or anybody ordinary.
So, natanong ko yan because some librarians are asking me, libre ba yan? Bibigay ba? Pwedeng humingi. Kasi mga tanong, hindi ko masagot. Pero sabi ko, manood kayo para masagot ng mga guests namin. So, with that, ma'am, abangan na lang natin yung buwan at saka good luck sa susunod na kabanata ng libro na itong project na gagawin ninyo. So, thank you very much, guys, for being here and for the information you have given. I know our viewers learned something about this topic, and thank you also for the viewers for watching, and I hope to see you again next Friday. So thank you again, guys. Thank you. Final message. Really?
Ayun lang. Okay. Sir, before we end, we would like to thank yung mga nakausap namin during our interviews, our key informants. Sir, yung mga barangays natin were very, very helpful. Just to name a few, yung namap ko lang naman. Luknab, Mines View, Pakdal. Sir, specific yun sa akin ha. Siyempre, yung sa ibang mappers, we are 16 in the group by the way. So, every person has a different item to map. So, yun is specific sa akin lang naman.
So, hindi ko
Kasama kami.
Kasama po kami sa mga na-mention ni Ma'am na barangay. But overall, they take key informants whether be it giving us first-hand information or secondary. It was very thankful. This is not for us. This is for all of us here in the city. This is our identity and of course our quote-unquote our armor for the vast globalization. Becoming a smart city, we also have to look back to our heritage. And for us, young people, this is where our story begins. So I hope you keep in touch always with us as we start our book 2 in the next following months.
Thank you, Sir Nawi, for this opportunity for us cultural matters to talk about the cultural mapping project of the city and the work that we did. First of all, I would like also to thank the cultural worker I have. I'm very, very thankful of the very, the staunch support given by the legislative and executive branch of the city of Baguio, and particularly also the office of the City Planning and Development Office, headed by Architect Donna Tabangin, where the cultural mapping project was launched. I think it was also very useful or very it was a good fit for cultural mapping to be under the City Planning Development Office, because later on Architect Donna initially mentions about the soul of the plans and the projects in the city, and the search of this soul. And she would look at the cultural mapping outlook as the one that's providing this soul. And then American Indian sees similar, the same thing. We resonated with what the American Indian said, that the soul of a community, the culture is the soul of the community. And the heritage resources that you've mapped are the ones that are the products of the creativity, centuries of wisdom, indigenous knowledge and systems. I am particularly thankful also for, aside from Happy Hollow and from Wakan, who provided the ITSP on Ibaloys, being the setting of a lot of the intangible cultural heritage properties that were mapped on Ibaloy here in the city of Baguio. And of course, not only Wakan, but in Bacacang and Camp 7 and also still in Pagkala. So this is a product of a participative, consultative process, which cultural mapping really represents, that it should be a consultative, participative process, because the content of the use of cultural properties in the city should be driven by the people themselves. They're the ones who dictate what comprises the heritage that they own. So thank you for this opportunity to talk about this and to be involved in this project.
Welcome.
And of course, we're very, very thankful for the city library, for example, headed by Ma'am Esther, who from day one of our project has been guiding us and who had been very open to the resources here, and who have tolerated our sometimes noisy. They provided a room for us in the second floor. And thank you for all the support of the staff, led by Ma'am Esther. Thank you.
So, thank you very much. That ends our discussion this day. And if you have any question, kung sakaling may question about the cultural mapping project, just message us and we ask these mappers to answer for you. Okay, thank you very much.